Welcome to Massive Late Fee. And now your hosts, Mark and Carol.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Massive Late Fee. My name is Mark. With me, as always, is my nauseated girlfriend, Carol. How you doing today, Carol?
Hey, what's up?
How much? It's been a good week here. It is December 13th, 1997. Carol, you're feeling a bit under the weather, but soldiering on like the great recording partner that you are.
I'm doing my best.
Yeah. It's not always sunshine, everybody. Sometimes you gotta... I've seen fire and I've seen rain. I've seen bubbling stomachs that I thought
my God,
would
stop.
never end.
Just stop.
Speaking of fire, though, the big three feel heat of global warming. What do you think about
I think that sucks. The big three being...
that? The three auto companies.
That's what I thought.
Treaty to affect car makers no matter what Senate does. The extraordinary global warming treaty reached by a United Nations conference in Japan, Kyoto, I believe, could change what Americans drive and Detroit automakers sell, even if it isn't ratified by the U.S. Senate. Indeed, the Republican-dominated Senate is almost sure to reject the treaty reached by 150 nations meeting in Kyoto, Japan on Thursday. But President Bill Clinton said he is proud of the agreement, which aims to reduce the 1.4 trillion tons of greenhouse gases that cars, power plants, and factories pour into the air in the United States every year. By changing regulations that don't require congressional approval, Clinton could demand better gas mileage from pickup trucks and sport utility vehicles, the most popular, most profitable, and least fuel-efficient passenger vehicles the big three build.
So the president is behind it, but Michigan's not, or I don't really understand.
What don't you understand?
I just said what I don't understand.
So, 150 countries met in Kyoto, Japan.
I understood that.
To address global warming.
Uh-huh.
And they all signed an agreement of like, hey, let's do this. It's a treaty. The president has powers to sign treaties. Doesn't need congressional approval for that. What they're saying is that Congress probably won't officially recognize the treaty.
So the president signed it.
Correct.
But Congress is not backing that decision.
Correct. Which means they won't... In the agreement, there's a bunch of laws suggested. There's nothing mandated, but there's a bunch of laws suggested that countries adopt in order to reduce greenhouse gases. It's basically a pledge of like, hey, let's reduce it by this much and this much, and here's ways we can do that. And so the president's like, yes, we should do this. And Congress is probably going to say, no, we shouldn't do it. But there are things that he can do with just like a, what do they call them? I can't think of it now. But it's like a president, it's like a decision the president makes.
A veto?
No.
Executive decision?
There you go, yes. Executive, like he can do executive decisions that basically make things happen without congressional approval. He can't do everything, but he can do some stuff, is what they're saying.
Well, I hope he does, because I think, doing everything we can to stop global warming is what should happen.
Sorry to get political, everybody, in a topic that should in no way be political.
Right? Only in America.
Quote, and we're quite worried about that. Richard Klamish, a chemist and vice president of engineering affairs at the American Automobile Manufacturers Association, said Thursday. They're quite worried about, actual regulations against them. The tweaking of regulatory standards, say U.S. automakers, could force U.S. companies to cut back on productions. Oh, no. So you've got a possibility of maybe it costs the automakers some company, or the auto companies some money, and in response we get to save the planet.
Right. Yeah, there shouldn't really be a question.
Or they can make more money and we can kill the planet.
Money, planet.
Tough call.
Money, planet.
Right. Oh, but speaking of money, Carol. I believe the song Money, Money, Money,
Money
came out in the 70s. And this is Stairway to the 70s. Also, the paper right here shouts out to you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Carol.
Nice. It's about time they recognized me.
The one true Scrooge, Booth Coleman, returns in Meadowbrook Theater's A Christmas Carol.
Huh.
I disagree that he's the one true Scrooge, but whatever.
So, A Christmas Carol at Meadowbrook Theater. That'd be cool.
Yeah. But this is Stairway to the 70s Carol, and this is all about how 70s style is coming back. TV programs about the Carpenters and Led Zeppelin bring them close to you again. Remember the Carpenters?
Uh-huh.
Karen Carpenter and her creepy-looking brother.
I mean, I don't actually, but I'm aware of Karen Carpenter because, like, my mom had a record of hers that she would play.
Richard Carpenter is the brother's name. Is it weird that every time I hear a Karen Carpenter song, I get hungry?
That's a fucked up thing to say. Every time I hear Karen Carpenter, though, I do think about how she sadly died from anorexia.
Rest in peace, Karen Carpenter. Yeah. Anyway, so it's the time of year though to hear Karen Carpenter.
Why?
She sang a lot of Christmas songs.
Oh, okay.
You know I don't know. You know my favorite Karen Carpenter song. Well, that's a Carpenter song.
No.
Oh, you don't know?
I don't. I feel like I should because of the way you're looking at me right now, but I don't.
How does it? I can't.
And I'm sorry. I apologize because now he's going to sing.
I'm trying to remember how it starts. There is something coming over
Okay,
me.
I know that song.
There is wonder in most everything I see. You know.
I didn't know that was a Karen Carpenter song, but I know the song.
It's the Carpenters. You know, like it's like you just want to fucking slap Richard Carpenter right in the face. When every time you've said, my mom had a Karen Carpenter album, I didn't know that was a Karen Carpenter song. You said Karen Carpenter so many times instead of the Carpenters ever.
I really didn't know that it was more than her.
Yes.
I mean, on the record, there was a picture of her. So
the band was made up of Karen Carpenter as the singer and Richard Carpenter as all the instruments.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, good for him.
They both released their debut albums in 1969 before emerging as two of the biggest groups of the 70s. Their work was slaughtered by contemporary reviewers, but has since benefited from critical revisionism. I don't like Led Zeppelin, by the way. Don't send your letters about how I'm some idiot because I don't like Led Zeppelin. They stole all their songs. And
wow.
write me letters. If you're a big Led Zeppelin fan, write me letters.
What are, like, two of the most popular Zeppelin songs?
Stairway to Heaven.
Like it.
And, did they do...
Didn't Metallica do Stairway to Heaven?
What? You're quite a fucking music aficionado, aren't you? Holy shit. No. That was not Metallica. I mean, maybe they did a cover of Stairway to Heaven, but no. That wasn't.
Okay. Sorry.
Didn't they do Stairway to Heaven? That, you know what that reminds me of? One time I had a girlfriend before you, I know, perish the thought.
Bitch.
Who said to me, that song, Every Little Thing She Does Is Magic, was on. Every little thing she does is magic. You know that song? And she said to me, hey, do you know who sings this song? And I said, The Police. And she goes, oh. She's like, well, do you know who did a remake of this song? I was like, no, because I didn't know that anyone did. She goes, Sting. I was like, yeah, maybe that's because he was the fucking lead singer of The Police and wrote the song. Anyway. Yeah, Led Zeppelin.
You
sucks.
dated some real brainy girls.
Yeah. The tradition continues. You know,
Hey, now.
Black Dog. They sang Black Dog. That's so. Black Dog, Stairway to Heaven, Kashmir. Probably their biggest songs.
Okay.
Anyway, there's a lot of TV programs about the 70s now, and 70s style is all the rage.
Yeah, I like bell bottoms. They're cool.
I hate it. I hate bell bottoms.
Aw.
I hate the 70s style.
What about platforms?
I have a friend, Colin, that wears the 70s style very well, but the leather jacket, and everything. And I mean that, like, brown, shitty yellow jacket. Like the kind that David Soul wore.
What about red corduroy pants? Do you think
Yep,
those are 70s?
he wore those too, yes.
I have a pair of those.
Red corduroy
Do you
pants
hate
is-
them?
No.
Like, I'm starting to feel offended.
I don't hate all 70s stuff, but I'm not as big of a fan of the 70s as some people are.
No, I know. You're a major fan of the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the late 70s was pretty good.
You mean, like, in October of 1979?
Well, that was a good time. I don't know why you're specifically pointing out that exact month and year.
I don't know. Why would I ever say that?
It couldn't be relevant to anything we're talking about.
Of course not.
In 1997. But anyway, Carol, that's all the
Yes.
news I have. I thought about doing Massive Love, but you're not feeling good, so we'll do it later. And by
Thank
later,
you.
I mean probably next week.
I love Massive Love.
I know, but you have a massive bubbly stomach right now.
Stop saying it. Every time you say it, it makes it worse.
If I'm physically controlling your stomach and it's bubbles.
My brain physically controls my stomach and it's bubbles. And when you say bubbles, my brain goes, make the bubbles.
Every time you tell me about it, it makes me think of your stomach as a witch's cauldron. That's what I envision.
Oh, jeez.
Anyway, speaking of witches, we saw a spooky movie.
We did.
We saw Scream Deuce.
Yeah, I liked it. I think it was close to as good as the first Scream.
Yeah, it was more comical, I would say, and more meta, as they call it. More like, hey, this is a movie.
More self-aware.
Yeah. Kevin Williamson, who's writing that. Apparently, by the way, I didn't realize this. There's going to be a third of these movies.
Oh, wow.
In almost a 100% certainty, because I read in Variety the other day, when he sold the script, he did 2 5-page treatments for a part 2 and a part 3 to help sell the idea of this movie. And so he's contractually obligated, like he's hardwired into doing 3 of these essentially.
Gotcha.
So they're definitely going to make a third movie. And he's also doing that new Dawson's Creek show that we saw. But I also read that he was inspired to make Scream by a painting by Edward Munch.
Oh, that's funny.
No, I'm joking.
Oh.
Because he did the Scream.
I know why you were making the joke, but it makes sense to me that he could say that because it kind of looks like that mask.
It does kind of look like that mask. You're right. I didn't even put that together. But he was inspired because of Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives.
Meh.
It's a great movie. It's the best Friday the 13th movie.
I don't think there should be a third movie, though.
Why?
Because it doesn't make sense for it to happen again. Like,
Well, who's
it's
to
kind
say it's
of
gonna happen
believable that, like, this terrible thing happens, and then they release a movie about the terrible thing that inspires copycats. Another round of people coming after her with these masks is stupid. That's not going to happen.
Another round.
Right.
But that's they'll make it work. They'll make it funny in some way, like they did with this one. They've got Jamie Kennedy being all like, "Hey, someone's making a sequel. We're in a sequel. We're in a sequel to the movie Scream. Remember that movie that we were in last year? We're in it again. There's a lot of that. It's not quite that over the top, but it's close." Like, he literally says someone's trying to do a sequel. We have to observe the rules of sequels. There's more body count, all this other stuff.
Right.
Maybe it's the boyfriend again. No, that's tired. We're not going to do that. We're breaking new ground or whatever. He looks at the director and pulls Kevin Williamson on screen and says he wouldn't write this schlock. But one thing I do like about the movie is it very artfully transitions from all that stuff to, hey, we're having a bit of fun and this is a sequel, to when people start getting attacked or killed. This is actually quite serious. That's it. They really do. Like, they take the threats seriously.
Yeah, I mean, that initial scene in the theater, it's very, like, it's a hard watch. It's very, like, disturbing and serious when that woman's being killed.
When Jada Pinkett gets stabbed through her fucking guts and...
Yeah, 7 times, I think.
Yeah.
Ugh. And everybody thinks it's just part of the movie opening or whatever.
If you haven't, the most ridiculous movie opening I've ever seen in my life.
Right.
A situation that does not exist in any movie opening ever.
It doesn't even make sense. Like, they gave away free tickets. Like, the whole showing was free, and then they gave away free masks.
Like, this wasn't the Hollywood premiere of the movie because the stars weren't there.
Right.
Tori Spelling didn't show up. It's hilarious that they made that joke in the first movie, and they got Tori Spelling
that was funny,
to portray Nev Campbell in this one. But anyway... and spoilers, obviously. If you haven't seen the movie, go see the movie because we'll probably talk about who the killers are or killer is. And,
spoiler
and everything else. So if you haven't seen it, go see it. But it's, first of all, the opening, ridiculous. Like you said, there's no stars there, so it's not the grand premiere. But yet they gave out a bunch of tickets. I don't know if everyone there got tickets. I know this dude got tickets.
Oh, that's true. Maybe he just won them or something.
But they are handing out the costume worn by an actual serial killer.
Right.
Replicas of it anyway. To everyone in the audience so they can all dress up. There's like ushers moving things back and forth, having ghost face killers go over the top of the seats and stuff like that. They're calling it Stabovision because the movie Stab. It's a bunch of 1950 shit that 100% doesn't exist today. But it would be like if they made a movie about John Wayne Gacy and they were like, here's clown costumes, everybody.
Yeah.
It says Pogo on it.
This is weird.
This is super sensitive to all the kids he killed. Because this dude, in the parlance of the movie, these two guys killed
several people in the same town. Like,
well, they're not in that town.
Okay,
they're in. So this takes. I don't know if you caught it, but this takes place in, I believe, California, where she's going to collage.
But where did the first one take place?
Haddonfield.
I
don't know. Illinois? I don't know. Maybe that's California too, but it's not the same town.
Okay.
Wherever Wes Craven says it is, because he's the director. But anyway, so it's ridiculous. The whole thing's ridiculous.
Yeah.
These two get killed, and we're like, why? Why kill Omar Epps? And why kill Jada Pinkett? Because their names happen to be, and I don't know how this dude knew this, or girl, or whomever. They must have done a hell of a lot of research to find just the right couple that they knew were going to, maybe they were the one that gave them the free tickets, that were going to be at this premiere. But their names happen to match up with, like, the first two victims in the first movie, and then the third person played by Buffy, Sarah Michelle Gellar. Who it was nice to see her in this for 5 minutes. She got the honorary Drew Barrymore role essentially.
Yeah.
But anyway, those three were similarly named, and then apparently after that, the killer abandons that formula.
Yeah, that's a plot hole.
It was weird. It didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It was a reason to have some more other people die that weren't directly connected to the plot.
Yeah.
But we see a little bit of the movie Stab, and by the way, great name for a movie.
Well, I mean, is it really any worse than Scream?
The Drew Barrymore role is played by what's her name, Roller Girl from Boogie Nights.
Oh yeah, I don't remember her name, but I know who you're talking about.
Heather Graham Cracker.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, she did a convincing Drew Barrymore.
Yeah. She looks a lot like her.
Reenacting events that there is no way anyone could have known because there was no witness. There were no living witnesses to that events.
I didn't think about that while we were watching the movie, but you're right. That's funny.
I mean, they could piece some stuff together from watching the crime scene or something like that, but there were a lot of details in there that they would not have known.
Right, like the burnt popcorn you can figure out, but their whole phone conversation, no.
Exactly. But anyway, and then we go towards the plot as a whole, which is essentially the same movie again, but bigger.
Yeah, I guess.
And dumber. And we get everybody else to come back. They got
Courtney Cox.
Courtney Cox with her red streaked hair.
I love her hair. I want my hair like that.
It was nice. It looked good.
And they got Dewey, whatever the fuck his name is.
Dewey Tomko, professional poker player.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, the cop Dewey.
Dewey, played by Arquette.
Yeah.
One of Arquette's sons. Patricia Arquette's brother. David Arquette. That's his name.
Yeah, so those two come from Haddonfield. Is it Haddonfield? Because I feel like that's from the Jason movies. Are you sure?
Haddonfield, I think, is from Halloween.
So why did you say that's where she was from?
Because I don't remember. I don't remember. It's something that sounds like that.
Okay.
Haddonfield is from Michael Myers from the Halloween movies. But I don't remember where they say it a couple times, but it sounds like Haddonfield. It's close.
Okay.
All the stuff is an homage. Billy Loomis, like Dr. Loomis from Halloween. Which, by the way, Loomis is also taken from a character in Psycho, because Halloween derives a lot from the movie Psycho.
Interesting.
So, but yeah, there's a lot of those kind of, I don't know what you want to call them, but
homages.
Yeah, little prizes, little frickin', if you pick up on it, like an Easter egg hunt, little Easter eggs.
Oh, nice phrase.
Knife. There. Was that a phrase? Knife phrase there.
We did see a lot of knives in this movie.
Knife pun. Anyway, so yeah, Loomis. I don't know where I was going with that, but what did you think?
Like I said, I liked it as much as, probably close to at least as much as the first one. There were a few things that were a little too coincidental, and I really don't think that the reporter and police officer from that old town are going to show up at her, college. That was weird. I mean, I know why, because of Cotton or whatever, but why is everybody's converging? She's in college, she's trying to move on with her life. Just leave her alone.
Liev Schreiber.
Yeah. Cotton what?
Well, Cotton Weary.
Yeah. The guy who was, fucking her mother and went to prison because she said that he killed her mom. I liked that they brought this guy as a kind of a full-fledged character out of prison, on his own. I'm an innocent man, and all that stuff. I like that they resisted the urge for him to just be like, I'm a good guy. Because he is kind of an asshole. Right.
And the guy that was having an affair with Sydney's mother probably would be kind of a duplicitous asshole.
Yeah, for sure.
And he was. He wasn't just your generic, like, yay.
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 Yeah, he's money hungry for sure. He's trying to
100%.
capitalize on it. Like, I guess
He's a fame whore.
well, he's thinking he spent a year in prison and he should get compensated, which, I
Yeah.
can't say that I disagree with that.
But he wants to be famous. He wants to be on Diane Sawyer. Diane Sawyer says she'll give us an hour, the entire prime time, Sydney, if we come on together, tell our story. Why don't you relive your mother's death, the death of all your friends, fucking Rose McGowan getting killed by a garage door, which is impossible.
But I mean, like, don't they get paid for that?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I really feel like that's mostly his motivation.
I think like 10 grand each or something like that, he said. No, I think he wants to be... I think he wants money, but I think he wants fame, too. I think he wants both, fame and money.
Okay.
Just like any actor. Like anybody in Hollywood. Looking for fame and money. But I do like that they portray his character that way. In the climactic scene where he's got the gun and he's holding it on Mrs. Loomis. Surprise, fucking Aunt Jackie is...
Yeah.
is... What's his name's mom? I know it's Billy Loomis, but what's the actor's name? It's Skeet Ulrich.
Yeah.
She's Skeet Ulrich's mom. And he's like, oh, she makes a good... She's trying to convince him not to kill Nev Campbell and not her. And he's like, oh, she makes some good points, Sydney. But guess Diane Sawyer's not looking so bad, right? And she's like, yeah, consider it done. So then he shoots the bad guy.
I think that was probably, like, a little too far. Like, I don't think that was very believable.
I thought it was... I think it works.
Yeah.
None of this is believable. This movie's not going for believability. It's going for entertainment. This is a movie fucking in its purest form. This is not supposed to be... And I guess maybe I'm giving it a bit of a get out of jail free card, and it sort of undercuts all of the things we do. But it really does... They did a very good job of creating a universe which is almost immune from normal film criticism. As far as like, oh, this is a plot hole or this is whatever, this isn't believable, because the entire thing is not supposed to be believable. It's all a fantasy, and it's very aware that it's a fantasy.
Right.
But all the standard things we would talk about, directing, writing, acting, lighting, cinematography, all that stuff. It's all done pretty top notch.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's definitely a good, well done movie.
We get a surprise David Warner. He's in like one scene.
Remind me who he was.
He was in Star Trek
Okay.
at one point. He played a couple different roles. He was in Star Trek 5. He was the dude on the planet of peace or whatever, the American. The human. There's a Romulan and a Klingon.
Sure.
I watched a lot of Star Trek, everyone. He was in Time After Time, I think, or something like that. It's like I think he played H.G. Wells, and Jack the Ripper H.G. Wells invents an actual time machine, and then Jack the Ripper gets a hold of the time machine, and he comes forward in time and starts killing people in the modern day, and he's trying to fucking track him down.
Interesting.
Yeah. I think that's called Time After Time or something like that. He's in that too. David Warner is a good actor.
So I think my favorite scene, and the scene that was the most frustrating also to watch.
Was it with Buffy?
No.
No. I loved Buffy being in this. She was in one scene where she argues in a classroom, and then she gets killed.
Yeah. Yeah, she wasn't in it for very long.
She's got other stuff to do.
She's a busy lady.
Yes, she is. What was your favorite scene?
When they were in the car.
That was your favorite scene?
They were in the police car, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was so very incredibly tense. And, like, the fact that, like, this guy... There was just so much stupidity. Like, these guys are supposed to be guarding them. They got them locked in the backseat of this police car.
They're the two best detectives in whatever fictional town in Los Angeles County they're in.
I mean, I had to like try not to laugh out loud when the one guy's throat just gets slit, and then the other guy.
At one point, the ghost mask appears next to him, and he's like, "Ah!" And then he punches through the window and just slashes his throat. And he's like, blah, 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 blah.
And he just pulls him out and jumps in the driver's seat, and the other guy ends up like on the car.
Well, he grabs the one guy and starts bashing him around the car and everything, but doesn't kill him or whatever. The guy, because the killer gets in and wants to drive the car. Sydney and her best friend or whatever are in the back of the car. This cop stands up, points the gun at him,
and doesn't fire.
Goes, "Get out of the car, asshole." It's like, you're not Dirty Harry. You think you have time for a fucking tagline? Like, it's ridiculous. And then he gets ran into.
Maybe he didn't trust himself not to shoot the girls. Maybe. I don't know.
I guess. I don't know. But you don't have time to make a statement. Just shoot.
Yeah. I mean, and he also said, "Get down back there," before you did anything else, too. Like, yeah, he gave them too much warning. So he ends up getting hit by the car. And then the killer drives the car, like, into a fucking, like, wall. And then it's up against a wall. So there's only one way out of the car.
Right. It's over, the killer.
That was just fucking hilarious to me.
Yeah, they had to climb into the front seat and then climb over him. And you kept thinking, like, oh, well, I'm just going to get pulled in or whatever. But they do get away.
Well, they should have gotten away.
Yeah.
But Sydney's like, "I have to go back and see who it was. I have to look." Like, why didn't you do that while you were standing there then?
Yeah, I don't know.
And then when she goes back, he's gone. It was like less than a minute. How did he get out of that car without them noticing? They were right in view of the car.
And he magically appears behind them somehow.
Yeah.
Now, that could have been because there's two killers in the movie, like in the first movie. That could have been one of the other two. Like, they could have been working together in that situation.
I guess.
But if so, where did he go? Was he hiding under the car?
Right? It was very weird.
The other like weird scene to me is when Gail is with Dewey and they're in that school. Mm-hmm. And she ends up going into, like, I guess it's like the student radio or whatever. And for some reason, in the middle of this office, there's the soundproofed room with the glass and everything like that. And then outside of it, there's just a labyrinth of fucking whatever.
Egg crate?
Yeah, the egg crate kind of like sound muffling, like soundproofing stuff. But it's not in just one room where it's like, hey, we record in here, so we need to control the echo or anything. It's literally a labyrinth of just a bunch of different walls leading to nowhere.
Yeah, they just have sheets and sheets of it, just like creating a
Stuff's
maze.
Not cheap,
It makes no sense.
It's where their fucking tuition money's going to.
Right. But yeah, and it was kind of hard to watch, like, when Buffy got killed, and it was kind of hard to watch when you thought Dewey got killed, and then he didn't get killed, which bothers me.
Well, yeah, Dewey Dewey apparently is fucking immortal. I think Dewey is Jason.
He's a cat.
I guess.
He has 9 lives. He's on life 3.
But he keeps getting, so I guess if they make fucking, 8 of these movies or whatever, he's gone. But, yeah, like, he got stabbed a bunch of times, but I guess he was stabbed in old scar tissue.
Yeah, it's so stupid.
So it's fine. You know how scar tissue famously stands up really well to being stabbed.
Right?
It's not like old wounds ever get open.
Ridiculous.
Why don't they just make the whole body out of scar tissue? Then you'd be impervious.
What did you think about the scene with Sydney's boyfriend? When, like, he was all tied up and everything?
Wait a second now.
Yeah.
For anyone that hasn't seen it, just imagine that. Sydney's boyfriend all tied up.
Okay.
But let's have some respect, okay? Sydney's boyfriend, quote unquote, it's Jerry O'Connell.
Yeah.
All right.
It's Kush.
What?
This Kush.
I don't know what that means.
Jerry Maguire.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He wasn't Jerry Maguire.
Yeah, he was Kush.
It's Stand By Me's own Jerry O'Connell.
Oh, that's right. He was in Stand By Me.
It's fucking... You know he was in Stand By Me. He was Vern. The little fat kid.
I'm just teasing.
It's fucking My Secret Identity Zone, Jerry O'Connell, where he's a teenager who's secret. He's a fucking superhero or whatever. He's got sneakers that can make him float.
Sure.
Oddly 3 feet above the ground or something like that. You know, the secret of my secret identity or whatever. The secret of my identity or something.
Every time
like
you say that, it makes me think of The Secret of My Success with Michael J. Fox.
That's a great movie.
I love it.
But Jerry O'Connell, let's put some fucking respect on his
The
name.
great
Okay?
Jerry O'Connell plays her boyfriend. Now, what did you think about when he was tied up?
You know what else we haven't mentioned?
What?
Just real quick, I'm gonna get all of his films out here and work before we're done. But you know, the best of Jerry O'Connell is Slider.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about Sliders.
Yeah. So, anyway, just some respect for Jerry O'Connell, please. The great Jerry O'Connell. Mm-hmm. As her boyfriend. Yeah, go ahead. What about him?
I've asked you 3 times. You know what I'm asking you.
What? Where he's tied up?
Holy shit. What did you think about the scene where he's all tied up and she just, like, lets him die because she's an idiot?
Oh, because she's a moron. It was very frustrating. He gave her his letters, which I guess is like, I was never in a fraternity.
Like getting pinned or whatever from the 50s.
Yeah, I was never in a fraternity, but apparently if you're in a fraternity, you have a necklace with the Greek letters on them, and you're never supposed to give them to a girlfriend, but you're always supposed to give them to a girlfriend. That's essentially how they explained it. It's like,
Right.
oh, it's not allowed to give away your letters, but everyone does because it shows, like, I really love this woman or whatever. And so his brothers haze him for it, as is tradition. And as is tradition, they attach him to a fucking, like a cross.
Yeah, it was
almost.
like, and he's like wearing a toga and stuff because it's like they're doing this play, and I think this was a prop or costume or whatever from the play.
But they just leave him there.
Yeah, it was really bad.
Like, they should be implicit in his death.
Right?
The college hazing's getting out of control. They're shooting people in the chest. Fucking Mickey's shooting people in the chest. What's that guy's name?
Timothy Oliphant?
Yeah, there you go. Timothy Oliphant is just killing people.
Yeah. I did not suspect him, did you?
I did. He was one of the few that I suspected. I did not suspect that Aunt Jackie was one of the killers.
No, me either. I actually thought it was going to be the guy who was like acting like they're in a movie. I thought he was going to be one of the killers. But,
Randy, but then
yeah.
he gets killed.
Yeah. Pretty early on, actually.
For a second, I thought maybe that was like a setup. I thought it was going to be him, and I thought that was like throw you off. Like, he's dead, but he's really not dead. It's just fake.
That could have worked.
But it wasn't that. Overall, I liked the movie. I think, like I said, it gets it right, where it plays it loose and tongue-in-cheek where it needs to, and then it gets serious where it needs to. If it didn't treat the threats, if it didn't treat the killers and the deaths and those scenes seriously, then I think everything falls apart.
Yeah.
But because the threats are treated seriously and the comic relief is in the in-between stuff, I think that's what makes it work.
Yeah. I very much enjoyed it. I would recommend it.
Yeah, so I would say go out and see it. We're vastly approaching or quickly approaching the end of the year here.
Yes.
We're going to have our best of episode soon. Not next week, though.
No.
What are we watching next week?
I believe Titanic.
Yeah, the new James Cameron movie. He's rarely disappointed. There's a lot of huge fanfare for this fucking movie, but I think it's going to be a big old failure.
Well,
even if the movie's good, you're making a 2.5, 3 hour long historical epic that might do well at the Oscars, maybe if it's made well. But I mean, this is not something audiences are going to go see again and again, in my opinion. But anyway,
We'll see.
we'll see what happens. I think so. I think you're right. I think that's the next movie we're going to see, and that's the last movie we're going to see in 1997. After that, we'll have the best of episode. Then we'll be off for a week, and then we'll see you in 1998. But anyway, that's the episode. Carol, tell people what they can do meanwhile.
So you can check out our website at www.retrolatefee.com.
Do it.
You can write us at latefee1994@aol.com.
Tell me why I'm wrong about Led Zeppelin.
And you can share the tapes with your friends.
All right, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.